Hey babe, how are we feeling?
I would not say great. Jeez, this has just been like so hard this time around.
Yes, it has.
And now I'm sitting in this room that I was wishing so badly we could begin decorating for our nursery.
I know, I feel like we've left it alone for so long with that hope.
Ever since we moved in, we were like, this is gonna be the nursery. I haven't done anything because I was just hoping. It's so empty.
I don't want to get too poetic, but it kind of feels like a mirror of the internal emptiness,
Yeah.
you know, that we've been wanting to fill this room with.
I feel like we just close this room off. Like we never come in
We
here.
never come in here.
We have guests that come in here and, you know, that's really the only time we come in here when the guests. One of the hardest parts about getting the negative is seeing the sadness and disappointment in your husband. It breaks me. This cycle was like the hardest I've seen you take it in the last 4 years.
It was definitely the hardest for me. I think a lot of things just compounded, it was almost like because I was feeling so good about multiple ovulations and PRP and going that direction, I had built up a lot of hope that like this third time where you ovulated again, it was like, you know, third time's a charm, like, you know, just little things like that where I was like, okay, this is it. And in my own life, I'd felt a lot of inspirations when my prayer and I just felt really good about it. And so it kind of hit like a truck.
Just processing, it's just so hard. Like now we are gonna hit 4 years of being on this journey, and that's so hard. Like I just never thought this was gonna be our lives. Thought of like what's next. Like I know we both feel called to be parents, just trying to figure out like, okay, God, like how do you want us to do this?
You turned 30 last year, and it's like my 30th is coming up, you know, like a week or two before our 4-year anniversary of our marriage, but also our, you know, first attempts to get pregnant. And so all those compounding, I know it's just another number, like 30 doesn't mean anything necessarily, but it feels like an added weight. And then I also feel like, okay, I'm going into my 30s now. Like, what am I going to do with the next decade? And, you know, God, what are you asking me, or what do you want me to do if I have this feeling of being a parent, but we're not yet?
And then being around like our friends with all their kids and like our family with their kids, it's just, don't get me wrong, I love being around the little ones. They bring us so much joy, but I feel like right now as we're sitting in this emotion, it's just such a big reminder of like, we're not there yet.
And I would say for me, and I think for you as well, I enjoy being around them so much. And that's almost the problem is I love it. My heart feels full. I feel, you know, just this sense of purpose and family and all that. And then having to, you know, each time we do it, it's just great in the moment. And then having to turn around and come home and come back to our house where, you know, that's not
so empty and
there
quiet.
yet. Yeah. And so it's that contrast that causes sadness in me. It's not like any type of jealousy or it's like, I just love what they have so much and I love being a part of it so much. And when I have to leave, it's the sadness of like a kid leaving the playground, right? Like I was just having so much fun and now I have to go back.
It's also not fair that, you know, going through all this emotion, it's also like the hormones of your period. Because I feel like that's hitting me so hard too. Just, I don't know, just feeling lost of like what's next. It just feels heavy.
You then also have to experience externally with physical things happening to your body and like bleeding and, you know, your period coming into effect. And it's just,
I don't know, do you see the fit?
I mean, you look fabulous
I
regardless.
got my period underwear on, I got the loose.
Got my jacket on.
Yeah, like I need a shower. I'm like holding on by a thread right now. Like barely, I feel like we are in survival mode to just get through these next few days. And I always like remind myself that too. These first few days are literally the hardest. They are the hardest. Getting the negative, going through your period, like having to like ramp yourself up. I mean, even right now when I feel like we are in this like transitional state of like, what's our next move? It feels hard.
I mean, you literally have hormones changing the structure and how you're thinking. And, you know, like everyone knows that in a way, like when you're got a lot of adrenaline or something, like you have physical things happening. And so I do feel like these first days are so hard because of that. You're trying to deal with all this and you're having to deal with like your body literally making you feel different. Yeah.
I know. One day at a time. Lots of praying. Lots of discerning.
Yeah. If I've learned one thing, it's that as we get out of these days, the joy and the hope usually comes right back in, right?
I know. It's going to come back. It just feels a little prolonged right now, just with how high hopes we've had. And I am so thankful for you. You have been such a rock through all of this. I love you so much.
Thanks, babe. I love you too.
You're going to be such a good dad one day.
You're going to be a great mom.
Oh, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Don't cry.
I love you.
Love you.